What's up, everybody? Mongoose with an early start to referencing my least favorite diesel company here. Hope everyone's doing well. Like I said last week, we're gonna try and keep doing these live streams. Those of you guys that are watching after the fact, or those of you guys just getting on now, what we do here is I have a topic. That topic is what I use to fill kind of free time in the live chat. As the live chat gets busier and busier, people are asking questions, I go to that. So the topic at hand is really just kind of to fill dead time in here. The live chat is what I like to kind of use to keep things going here. Mongoose, how you doing, brother? We can, as always, talk sinister stuff and how much they deeply upset me. You will be happy to know I got the setup back. We got my big mug here for when I get a little dry. We got the cough drops back for when my voice gets a little sore, so we can go maybe a little bit longer than last time. What's up, Hammer Down? How you doing, brother? If I can set my stuff here. I don't know where I set my crap anymore because it's been so long. She's up sleeping right now. She's had a long day. We had people over. She is pig mug. Yeah. When you guys get me into like the hour range of this, it gets a little we have toys for on my 6-7 schedule. I am off the next 2 days, Steve. I don't know what you're doing, but hit me up because I'm down for some nonsense. If you're doing a project, one extra hand, I'm happy to come out. I only have the 6-7 right now as my ECM is not taking a VIN. Oh, you have the pusher kit? Steve, do you want to install the pusher kit in the next 2 days? Because I'll come over and help. I mean, I don't know how much help I'll be. I've never done it, but I'm down to goof around. Steve, I'm going to text you right now, and I'll come out tomorrow. I'm going to say I think I'm free after like 10:30ish in the morning. Those of you guys that don't know, Steve is, first off, he has a great channel. He's got a 6-7 on there. He started out as a Chevy and Ram channel, and now he does everything, literally everything. He's got a really cool channel, though. He also helped me set up my video settings years ago when I was still recording in a really dumb setting. Which brings me to the other fact, the GoPro Hero 5, while it still works, I'm not going to use it full time anymore. I think I have my new Hero, I got an 11, and that's up in my room, I think, right now. But so we're going to be switching camera setups here. So I still have a lot of old footage on the Hero 5 to come out, which I think was okay footage, but we're going to try to do 4K now. So I'm very excited for that. Anyway, so besides Mongoose asking about my least favorite diesel company, Sinister Diesel, and their nonsense, let's get some questions in the chat here and kind of get going. What I do want to say, as far as I'm also going to try to text Steve here a little bit. Kids are in school. Okay. Let's see here. What do y'all think about needing Arch Oil or Hot Shot Secret in the 6-liter? Just got brand new worn injectors and KC turbo. Joe, first off, what is your, just for curiosity, it doesn't really matter, but what size injectors did you go with, and what turbo from KC did you go with? I'm sure it's a cool setup. Bigger injectors and slightly bigger turbo are always a lot of fun. And as far as this, I'm a big believer in Arch Oil on 6 liters. Joe, 155s or 175s? Unless they start at a 165, I'm not aware of. And as for Arch Oil or Hot Shots, here's kind of been my thing. I love Arch Oil. I think it's a great product. I've talked to a lot of people that run Hot Shots. A lot of them have really liked it. The two things I've seen that, from what I've heard, arch oil seems to be kind of more of an immediate effect. It tends to work right away on people with sticking spool valves. Hot shots tends to take a little longer, but what I've noticed is people that run hot shots say that it really lasts the duration of an oil change. I like to do 5,000-mile oil change intervals. For a Huey injection system, you really shouldn't be pushing that much further. In my opinion, they're just really, that style of injector is very tough on oil. So I really do like arch oil. I think either or is fine, honestly. To say you need it, that's hard to say that you need it. I think it's helpful. I think there's additives that really do actually help with the 6-liter injectors. I don't say you need it. Make sure you're changing your oil regularly. But I don't think it hurts. Maybe you don't do it every time, maybe every other or something, because these oil changes are expensive and that cost does add up over time. I'll say this, I tend to run arch oil and I've liked it. I have wanted to try hot shots, but I wanted to wait till maybe I had injectors that weren't running quite as nicely. 155s and a stage 1 turbo from them. I bet that's a nice setup. You're going to love it. It sounds like you already have it. I bet you do love it right now. Excuse me. Sorry. So let's see here. I do have a fuel return system. Or Mongoose, were you talking to Joe? Because that's kind of different. I do have one. I have a fast, and I have a regulated return, and I plan to, in the spring, probably do a fuel bowl delete on that setup. Warren no longer recommends fuel additives. I didn't know they changed that. They used to not really have an opinion on it, from what I remember, but I didn't know they actually said I don't use it, or they don't recommend it. I've not heard of Warren not warranty unless you have a regulated return system. Now, I will say this: when you get into their bigger injectors, like 190/30s, is really where you probably need to start saying I should have a regulated return. 205/30s, absolutely, you should have a regulated return on that. 175 stocks, I ran for years without issues and never had a regulated return. I did have my fast system, and I did keep track of my fuel pressure to make sure it was always good. But I never actually had a dedicated regulated return setup outside of just the factory return setup, which their issue is that they call it a deadhead, meaning the fuel has nowhere to go once it's in the head. It just is stuck in the cylinder head. So people run the regulated return, brings that fuel to the front, and then pushes it back down, or back to the tank. I thought I heard somewhere that AMSOIL advises against additives in oil, so I just use fuel additives by Archel. AMSOIL might advertise against it because I believe that's kind of part of their whole thing, is that they already have additives in there. I have also heard, I forget what diesel company. There's a, I think they're big in Cummins, that they have their own oil, and I'm pretty certain of this. They have their own oil and they have additives in. They don't recommend it in that either. Motorcraft, I think it's perfectly safe. I don't run T5, T6. Like, I don't run Rotella anymore. I did for a little bit, and I can't say I had any issues with it. I will say I've heard of injector companies saying we're not going to warranty if you're running it. I'm not 100% sure why that is. I've heard different reasons. I just have never seen something like concrete. Warren says they tend to leave a lot of residue on parts, and that has led to failed injectors. There's also a lot of people running Rotella that have, 150, 200,000 miles on their injectors and no issues. It's hard to say. But Greg, I do think I have heard that from AMSOIL as well. Should I take off the fuel filter in the bowl if I have an AirDog lift pump? James, only if you're going to Only if you're going to do like a fuel bowl delete. I plan to do a video on this next year. In the springtime, I plan to install it. It might this winter, but more likely it'll be a springtime project where I delete the fuel bowl. But you need a full regulated return. Otherwise, I would still run that up there. I guess technically you don't need it. I don't know if there's anything that like presses on to keep pressure, but I personally would run it. Well, I should say this. I did for a while. 6 liters could possibly rise in price. I think that's fair. It's one of the few pre-DPF setups out there. And we kind of have them figured out, so people do tend to like them. And we're still improving on the 6 liter, even though the last one left production forever ago. The last new 6 liter came off the line almost 15 years ago, and we're still finding out new crap about them. There's somebody looking by me, Steve, that's looking for a 6 liter. I've seen a couple Harleys, but all of them have the rockers rotted out on them. Otherwise, they look super cool. I just don't notice any sort of difference with or without fuel additives. I think fuel additives are always kind of a good practice with diesels across the board. I don't think you can ever have an issue with that. If you're 6'7", like the 6'7" guys out there, you want to be careful with your oil and fuel additives. But if you have the CP4, you don't want to run. I think Arch Oils is not safe. There's not many safe ones for it. Like some have an alcohol-based fuel additive. Anything like that can cause damage to the CP4 pump, which is obviously going to be a very bad day for you. So I don't recommend many fuel additives in the. I'm sure Ford has one that would be fine to run, but I would be very cautious about most fuel additives that you're using. Joe, the only thing I can say about the Arch Oil is when I had a sticking injector, and it would help clear it up. However, when I'd lose the code, it wouldn't come back until it was about time for an oil change. Like the last 1,000 miles before an oil change, I'd start getting the code coming back up that there was an issue. So it does help, but it certainly isn't going to fix a failing injector. It is a Band-Aid in its like truest sense. Also, those of you guys, we're at 11. Well, now we're at 8 people watching. Go hit that like button. We only have 2 likes on the video so far, so hit that like button while we're hanging out here, guys. I've never tried the Kirkland. I will say this: oil. People get real weird about the oil. I think it's less of a big deal than people need to make it out to be. I think it's more important that you're changing your oil at 5,000 miles on a 6 liter. I do 5,000 on my 6.7 too. They say you can go longer. I don't see the point in it. Cheap insurance to make sure my truck is still running good. They're too expensive to cheap out on an oil change. Post a link of my truck getting built. Joe, not here in the live chat, but if you post one on any of my videos, or even after this gets put up, if you just go in and leave a comment, I'll go check it out. You can also find me on Instagram at 60 Bros, but there's an H in it. I'll quick. That's my Instagram handle. You can send me a link there. I'll go check it out. The orange and black Harleys are cool. I remember when they were like brand new trucks. I remember just thinking they were like the coolest looking truck out there. They were so different than some of the other Fords. They had that different grille too that looked awesome. They were just a neat truck. I would love to see Ford bring like a specialty back like that. I don't necessarily even care if it's a Harley. I'm personally not a big Harley person, but if they brought a special package back that kind of captured some of the cool things they did with those trucks, that would be neat. goal for the Platinum is to make it like the Harley style, but new and not actually Harley. Just Billy Badass. Steve, I love it. He's trying to make a Platinum a Harley. I'm trying to make an XLT a Platinum. I would love to find black with Ghost Flames. There's one by me with Ghost Flames, but like the rockers are all rotted out. They're rough. Eric, oil changes 3,000 to 4,000. There's nothing wrong with replacing oil earlier. I'm pretty good with 5,000, but no one's going to say you're wrong for doing every 3 to 4. That's for sure. Ooh, uncut. Yeah, I'm not saying I've never gone longer on an oil change than I meant to. It certainly has happened, but I do try hard not to. 7K is not that bad, especially if you're not noticing any issues. I think on 6 liters going longer, your biggest issue is going to be on your injectors, not so much like major engine failure, I wouldn't think. I would be cautious. 10K on fuel filters is normal. I do about 10K on my 6.7 for filters. I do the same on my 6 liter. I mean, I just use the fast kit, but I do about 10K on each for fuel filters. Probably one of the more overlooked areas of maintenance on a vehicle. People just don't change their fuel filters enough. Let's see here. I would like to have all the special edition 6 liters. What all was there? There was the Centennial. Was that a 7.3 or was that the 6 liter that there was a Centennial edition? There's a couple rare 6 liter setups out there. The Harley with Ghost Flames, I don't think there was a ton of. The orange and black Harley, I think, was all over the place. But I'm trying to think what else there was. They did a couple, the Armella, that's right, I forgot about that. That's actually my least favorite edition they've done. Not my favorite. I did test drive one once, and it was a neat truck. I just couldn't get over the bright yellow. Eric, that's a good way to do it. Every other oil change. LED replacements. Auxbeam has been really good. I've liked pretty much every LED replacement I've gotten from Auxbeam. So it's hard to say that you could go wrong with them. I do have a set of Auxito LEDs. I'm trying to think. I know I'm spelling that wrong, or I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm trying to see if I can quick find the link of it. They sent me a set that I'm going to be reviewing in the very near future. AUXITO. Those are definitely the two brands I would look at. Auxbeam, again, great. I've had good luck with them. There's a lot of others out there now. There was a time that LED lights sucked. They were too bright for oncoming traffic. The beam pattern wasn't really there to safely drive. Like, they were really bright. They'd light up, the first 10 feet in front of you really well, but they didn't really throw their light. So I used to kind of hate them, but they've got them kind of figured out to more resemble a natural halogen look, with the brightness of an LED. So they have gotten a lot better. Those are definitely my two recommendations right now if you're looking for LED upgrades. I have a bunch to actually review. I'm just waiting to have the 6 liter back again. We're probably swapping ECMs out because the ECM won't take a VIN number. And I was getting ready to get a bunch of tunes, and then that was going on. So I was like, well, crap, I need to hold off before I go ahead and do this, because I don't want to have to get new tunes later. So, best truck for 5K for a semi-daily. Ooh. Are you talking like diesel truck for 5K? Because that's going to be tough. to find something that's going to be like reliable, that isn't going to need a lot of work. If you're looking at used trucks that aren't necessarily diesel, it's hard to go wrong with, 150 or 1500. Just a regular. Yeah, I'd go looking for like a 150, as new of a 150 as you could get. Chevy or Ram 1500. Just based on the budget, I would steer away from anything diesel. I'd be looking for just plain V8s. I had an '01 150, and I loved that truck. But if you can get, like, if you could afford one, like if you could find one that, I think, was it 11 or 12? I think they went to the 5.0 in the 150s. That's probably going to be your best overall engine setup. Easy to work on. There's a ton of parts out there for them. So there's a lot of support, probably because that's what most 150s have in them. And even then, it's very similar engine to the Mustang. So you're going to get the most support through having one of those. So that's the route I would go. I would definitely look at that. If you can't get the if you can't find a 5.0 150, then I would definitely look at a 4.6 or a 5.4. Oh yeah, your 2000. I still remember when we did the tug of war with your 150 and my 250, which was really actually funny. I know I have that video up still, but to recap, me in two-wheel drive, him in four-wheel drive, he was able to beat me. And then once I was in four-wheel drive, it was a no-go. But it was a lot of fun. Just goofing around, just doing dumb stuff. That was a good time. It's a shame we don't have access to that area to do that crap anymore. But yeah, Steve, that's another thing. Are you looking to sell that? I might have a potential buyer here. Oh yeah, there was some Cabela's edition. I wonder what is around on the local Facebook marketplace here for 150s. I don't know that I've ever really looked this up, but I'm sure there's some stuff. This truck looks pretty. Oh, here's an extended cab 250. That's a gasser. Looks all right. I guess you could probably find a 250 gasser too. Oh no, I was kidding. I was talking about this this guy in here looking for a regular truck. You can't let that thing go. That thing is iconic on your channel, and I love it. But I could understand why you would want rid of it. But that reminds me of that scene in I think it's Old School where Will Ferrell talks about taking off the restrictor plate on the Red Dragon and keep that on the download. It's not exactly street legal. Yeah, that truck's not exactly roadworthy. Although a lot of fun we have had in it. So guys, throw some let's get some more diesel questions here in the live chat. Also, if you're just tuning in and haven't already, hit that like button. It does help the video and the channel out a lot. And I do appreciate the support. We got 14 people and 5 likes. So let's see if we can't get that number up a little bit. An Excursion V10 or 5.4 gas 5K all day. I could see that. I would love an Excursion sometime. Not right now. I cannot afford another vehicle, but I would love to get an Excursion. I just think it'd be fun to do a bunch of dumb stuff with that, like a crazy sound system. I was looking at the Fleece fuel filter setup just the other day. I wouldn't mind trying the Fleece one out. But I think the fleece one is just a delete for the upper intake or the upper filter to oh, what am I trying to say? Like if you're running a FASS or air dog system or some kind of different filtration setup. Uh, but I wouldn't mind. Oh no, the fleece spin on. Oh, I didn't realize they had a spin on. I would definitely try the fleece out. Oh, that looks sharp. Big shocker, Sinister has one, charging more than everybody else for it by at least $70 to $100. That adds up. H&S seems to be the most popular with theirs. That's a bypass filter. Here it is. $200 for the fleece. I think the fleece looks probably the best overall. Wait, there's Steve, there's a replacement one for the low. I've seen like a metal filter housing, but is it just a replacement for like that you can run a cat filter or something down there? I have to Google this. 6.7. Lower fuel filter upgrade. Looks like there's a couple. Looks like there's a few just bypass underbed fuel filter. Oh, that's just for the newer trucks. I have to check all this out. So FASS has a filtration system that's not a pump. But I would definitely probably just go with a pump at that point. I'll have to check that out because I wouldn't mind, like, if I'm going to do the upper one, I wouldn't mind getting rid of the lower one and just having two spin-on filters. Like that would be my definite preference over the Ford factory ones. I'd like to run a Holley Dominator ECU system on our 6.0s, but I don't know if it's worth the money. Ooh, that's well, that's a tough one. I know the Holley Dominator stuff is big in the gas world. I don't know how that would work, man. You're kind of over my head on that. It's expensive. I don't know that you're going to have the support you want. Like, I don't know that it'll work with a 6-liter, first off. But hypothetically, say it does, or say someone has, I just don't know that it's necessarily worth it over just having like tuning your factory stuff. Because that's the other thing. You're probably going to limit your tuning. You're probably not going to have as many people that can tune that setup as a whole. It would be interesting. I just don't know what the gain would actually be doing that. Like, I get it for a lot of gas vehicles, but I feel like there's not as much wild stuff. I mean, I know the EC, they are getting old. I just don't know. Has anyone done it? Like, have you seen any videos of it? I'm Googling it to see if anyone's done it. I mean, protecting. I do see somebody here talking about it on a 7.3 on powerstroke.org. You speak old truck. Not everybody seems to be loving it. Now this is an Oh no, this is actually isn't that old. I just can't believe this one guy's still posting on here so many years later. Uh, like I remember him posting back when I used to a lot. This is just from January of this year. If anyone has a rotted 6.0 truck cheap, I'd buy it and drop the engine in my second gen. Oh, that would be the coolest thing to see a 6-liter in a Dodge, because everybody puts Cummins in Fords. It would be really funny to see a 6-liter in a Dodge. Steve, and I think you'd love it. I think you'd absolutely love it. A 6-liter in a Dodge. Does anyone have a Steve, define cheap? Because I will go engine hunting for you. .0 Powerstroke engine. Was putting oil into coolant, so that's a bad oil cooler. Here's one in Felton that needs a new oil cooler for $800. That's a steal. It looks rough, though. I actually would not buy it. But I'm sure there's one out there for under $1,000 that's was a running truck. What's this? Motor was good when pulled, had low oil pressure. Nope. I say we find one, Steve. It really would be super cool. A freaking 6-liter in a Dodge Ram, where everybody talks crap on 6-liters and how a Cummins is better, but to put one in, if that is the only thing that this channel accomplishes between now and whenever there's a stopping point to it, that would be a win in my book. To be a part of helping Steve cram a 6-liter in. Just finding somebody actually selling it. Or maybe a truck that's half broken down that somebody just wants to get off their plate. Because you probably would need some crap from it. It definitely would fit. A 6-liter would definitely fit in that Ram. It'd be tight for sure, but I mean, that V10 is probably pretty big itself. So we need a parts truck, essentially. And then we're in business. Steve, I now have a new mission. Oh, that's I was with you when you saw the one in the Ranger. He did that wild burnout too. In the in the burnout pit at Diesel Nationals this year. I would really love to enter next year's Diesel Nationals and do a little bit of racing in the 6-liter, or even maybe a burnout. We'll see. But I would love to do something in the 6-liter next year at that. That would be awesome. Even though it's not going to be like anything crazy, but if I did my part, it really could run 12s at this point. I think if I do my part, which is really a big ask because I don't know how to drag race, but it could definitely get into the 12s at this point, I think. It'd be high 12s, but it could definitely do it now. I was hoping I've gotten a lot of questions recently on the channel. I was hoping some of these people would scoot over into the uh, live stream and hang out and ask some questions there. What do you think of all these? Uh, I don't know. If you're running 22s, I like 22s is a big wheel. I'm hoping you're at least at a 35. I think it starts to look better at like a 36, 30 or 37-inch tire, excuse me. I like 20s. 20s is kind of as big as I really like. If you're going bigger than that on wheels, I like to see a really big tire. Like, I think a 22 or 24 with a 40-inch tire would be cool, but now you need a fair amount of lift. Like, I think on a Super Duty to run a 40, you need to have like 8 inches of lift or something like that. Like, it's a fair amount to be able to run that size tire. But I do like them. I can appreciate everyone's got a little bit different. I don't love the super like stanced trucks. That's just not what I'm into. But at the same time, uh, I do love the, like I said, I have 20 by 10s on my truck and 35s. I think that's a cool look. You're on a 12-inch lift. Mongoose, have you ever sent me pictures of your truck? It sounds pretty cool. Well, then a 22 or 24 with a 40-inch tire, if anyone makes that, that would be cool. Let's see here. What's next for my 6.7? I just did the backup camera. I might do headlights or taillights. I wouldn't mind doing a 1.5-inch lift or something, 2-inch lift, and bigger blocks in the rear. That's something I'd like to do. I'll need tires probably before next inspection, so I'd like to kind of get that all done. And I want to go with, I eventually want to get a set of Tremor wheels off like a 20 and put them on the truck. So I might, which when I do that, I want to go to 35-inch tires, which I think they're an 18-inch wheel if I remember right. And I wouldn't mind a set of running boards. After that, I do want to do the sound system in there. And then I wouldn't mind doing like air intake. I'd love to do the piping kit in the near future. I'm looking at doing the fuel filter stuff as well, and probably a disaster kit in the near future. I want to eventually do the DCR. It's just hard to justify that money right now, but in the future, I do plan to do the DCR pump for the 6.7. Trying to think, I want to do a front-facing camera, a camera for the tail for when I'm hooking up to my fifth wheel because I can't see over my bed cover. Those are probably the next several things. Like, that's probably the next year and a half worth of stuff I plan to do to the 6.7. I do need to come up with a monitoring solution for it as well. Well, now I have to look to see if your disaster kit fits my truck. I think they are, for the most part, the same. The SNS kits. So 2011 through 22. Yeah, dude, it definitely fits. I would happily accept. And also, if you want, I'll definitely be there to put in a DCR. I want to see that. I really want the DCR. It's man, I think it's worth every penny. I love A-Rod's channel. I think he has a lot of cool stuff on there. I think A-Rod probably has the best 6.7 channel. He was recently talking about a Powerstroke. I don't know if he actually got a 6-liter. Are you going to Detroit to get it all done? A-Rod, I assume? Well, Steve, you might need a travel partner for that trip. I don't know if you can be trusted out there by yourself with no supervision. I should probably come along for it. That would actually be a cool trip. All kidding aside. No, but I want one. Are you going to Canada when you go? All right, I will start the passport process here in the near future. And then, yeah, that would be a cool trip. That would be a really cool trip. Buy Canada beer and whiskey. I'm a simple beer drinker, man. You know that. Do they have the equivalent of a light up there? Canadian whiskey, I can definitely get behind. Definitely, but better. I mean, I'll try it. Certainly can't hurt. Right now, I'm in the process of attempting to lose weight, but I'm sure I'll be ready to put some on when I get up there. Oh, Abe, your truck looks great. A 4-inch would be a cool lift, though. I've actually thought about putting the 6-liter to a 4-inch lift, just because I think it would fit a little better with my tires and wheel setup. And then sometimes I think about leaving it alone and getting a more mild lift. PMF is who I'm looking at for the 6.7 because you can pick your suspension height when you pick your coils. You can change it because I don't want to go like that's my main tow vehicle. I just want a little bit, one of the other plans for it is to kind of make it like if they made a Tremor in that year, what would it look like? So I don't want to go too crazy, but like an inch, I would love like an inch and a half, maybe 2.5. I could see me going 2.5 inch. But they sell a set of Icon dual rate springs that are supposed to ride really nice. I mean, I know they're 3/4 ton pickups, but still, I'd like it to ride nice. And then I do plan to go just a little bit taller in the rear with the setup. So I have like a little bit of a rake on the truck. I don't want to go with a completely flat truck, or like completely flat or leveled stance. I'd like to have a little bit of a rake to it. So I am looking at that from those guys because they seem to have the nicest. I'd love to eventually put their whole setup on my truck, from their 3-link or 4-link down to all their different upgrade steering suspension and stuff. I think would be really cool. I hear King Shocks are amazing. I do not have King Shock money, to be clear. I have Bilstein money at best. I did really want to compare some of the other ones like Icon, Shocks, or Fox, but they get up there. Yeah, the remote reservoir icons, although they're not bad for what they are, but $300 a shock, so 600 a pair. Regular 189. I could see me justifying icon at some point. Who was the other one? Fox, I think I wanted to try, but I think Fox got pretty pricey too. Fox is right in the same area as the icons. But have you seen CJC Off-Road? I don't know that that name does sound familiar. Let's look it up, see if I know. I don't know that I've been on this. If I have been, they've updated their website a lot. But now I feel like I need to quick give it a check. Little once over here. Looks like a nice website. I mean, it's obviously all suspension related stuff. But they seem to kind of have their stuff squared away. Let's see. It looks like a nice website. And Rough Country changed theirs. I guess I'm not opposed to Rough Country. I don't know that I want to. I feel like I do Rough Country again on my 6-liter. I don't know that I want to do it on my 6.7. But I could definitely see going with another Rough Country lift. Like if I were to go to a 4-inch lift, I could definitely see me buying a Rough Country lift to install. I don't think that would be that bad. Yeah, definitely. I could see me buying their 4-inch lift. I'm happy with the way that runs overall. For the money, Rough Country is hard to beat. On my 6-liter, it's been good on my 6-liter. I need to do cab mounts on my 6-liter really bad. And here's what sucks is there's been some nice like SMB definitely has like the nicest cab mounts right now. And a lot of people on Amazon are knocking them off, but they're only knocking them off for the newer trucks. So I can't use like my 6.7 is fine, but on my 6-liter, it needs them bad, and nobody's making like the silicone body mounts for it. At least not the last time I looked. Let's see if I can find them. I would be shocked. 2008 through 16, 8 through 16. Yeah. So all the silicone mounts are all 8 through 16, which are probably actually pretty nice mounts. All the older ones are the that super hard material, and everybody complains about how they ride. I'm not looking to make it ride worse. I'd like an upgrade. I wish somebody made them for the older trucks. That's all I can really say. But nobody does. What do we got here? It's not loving whatever you just sent me. Oh, there it is. 3-inch coil conversion upgrade. That's kind of neat. I don't know that I'd want to do that. For the money, that is tough to beat. Coilover conversion for $1,800 on a Super Duty. That is not a bad price. And it does look sweet. I changed my mind. I could see me doing that one day. It will not be the first lift that's on my truck, uh, for strictly financial reasons, but I could see down the road changing something out and doing it. Um, a 3 inch is a nice look, man. Like that's a nice looking truck. That's a nice stance. I don't know if it says what it looks to be about like a 35-inch tire. They used to say what like what size tire they recommend, but I don't know that I see it anymore. Or at least not that I'm willing to go look through and read all the fine print. But that's a cool setup. I like when Rough Country does stuff like that. Rough Country released a shock with the reservoir, except they were more expensive than other stuff out there. Make a GoFundMe for my truck. I have the. Now I have to look that up. Oh, you have their shock, their reservoir shocks. I think they look cool. They're just some of them are kind of on the pricey side. It's kind of my issue with them. I don't think they. Okay, they make that's a 150 thing. I thought they did away with it, but apparently not. Apparently they just don't have it for the earlier Fords. They do look nice. Goes with the 6-inch. Abe, I'll not be making a GoFundMe for my truck. Hey man, how are you doing? Welcome to the live chat. We're kind of off topic talking about all sorts of random stuff, but it's still a good time. I would still like to swap out at some point. I shouldn't say I'd like. At some point, I'd still like to do a conversion to the earlier style front suspension. Right now, I don't know. I'm hoping the person that's holding those parts for me still has them. I should go over and take a look at that. I would love to do that at some point. I just don't currently have a reasonable way of doing it. But I would still love to do it. I definitely want to re-gear the 6-liter at some point to like 410s or 430s. I think that would really make a big difference in how it drives. So that's definitely on my list at some point. I don't know how to do that, but I would like to. I'd like to put a limited slip in the rear, and then just a regular gear up front. Axle gears. Yeah, I would love to go through all that and change that up. I don't know what all is involved. My best friend just got a 6.0 Powerstroke 04 body with an 06 engine. Paid $2,000 for it. That's wild. I'm trying to think how. When he went to the 06 engine, do you know if somebody switched ECMs or is he still running an earlier style ECM? If nothing breaks, ain't that the truth on these trucks? If nothing breaks, you're saving for an Eaton True Track front and back and re-gear. Clean, no rust. Dude, that's awesome. I don't know which gears I would really want to go with. I definitely would have to take a good look at what people have had luck with in the past. I know I definitely want like a limited slip in the rear. And I don't really care about having one up front per se. Although at some point I wouldn't mind doing it up front on my 6.7 because that's what the Tremors have. They have a limited slip front diff and the electric rear diff. So I wouldn't mind doing that just because I think it would be really cool. And the goal on my 6.7 is to make it like the Tremor. So that would be really neat. I mean, if these Mongoose, I'm not starting a GoFundMe. I feel there's people that probably really need GoFundMe accounts. I would have a hard time. The best way you can get me to do this is to keep watching my videos, even if you've already seen them. Go back and rewatch. Tell everybody into diesels to come watch my channel. The more successful the channel is, the faster these things will happen. Not sure if it has ARP studs, EGR delete, and latest suspension. Oh, so somebody really loved that truck. If they went through and redid the suspension on it to have like the newer style, what? Oh, dude. Mongoose, thank you, man. That is awesome. You did not need to do that. Thank you so much. I can't say thanks enough, honestly. Merry Christmas to you too, brother. That is certainly kinder than anybody needed to be. I can't thank you enough. Really came out hot with the first super chat in a long time, and came in with the highest I've ever received. Now I feel like I gotta at least do a regear or something here for you, brother. Yeah. No, I will say the best way to support the channel is to let people know that are into this stuff. Have them watch the channel. Let them know about the live streams. I love doing live streams. If you do choose to super chat, by all means, but you certainly do not need to. Mongoose, I will, man. Thank you. That seriously, again, that was too kind. I can't thank you enough. That's funny. That I remember the first time somebody like gave me a super chat, I was like through the roof. Thanks, man. I appreciate that too. The best way to help get the word out about the channel, like I do the live streams to answer questions. Like we've just been kind of having fun, which is really nice to just goof around and talk about stuff, because that is a lot of fun to me as well. But at the same time, like I also love answering questions about these trucks, whether it's problems, my opinion, or how to fix something, or doing videos. I haven't done this in a while, but there's times I fixed stuff on my vehicle that weren't broken just to make videos for you guys out there. Like somebody asked a question about something, and there's times I'll take stuff apart on my truck to film just to literally make a video. F-250 King shocks. Ouch, man. They're rough. When you say King shocks, do you mean with the reservoir? Or do you... Oh, wait. Do they not make one without? I only see... They only make the reservoir. So $1,200. This is just for the taxes. You're covering the taxes on my King shocks. Well, when I just looked those up, though, I did want to ask, have you heard anything about the Carly? Because they're kind of in the same boat as far as cost-wise. And then coilovers. What I can say is the 6.7 will see multiple suspension changes. I will make a change for a certain look in the near future, which we talked about, which would probably be like 1.5 to 2.5 inch up front, and then like an inch bigger in the rear. So if I go 2.5 up front, I'll go 3.5 in the rear, mainly for towing purposes. But Carly uses Fox, King, and other shocks. They don't have their own shock. Okay. So are Fox and King essentially the same thing, just different brand? I don't know much about the different shocks. I do want to go rock lights. I know everybody hates these things, but I do plan to do rock lights on the at least on the 6.7. Johnny, nice to have you, man. Welcome from San Antonio. Nice. Mongoose, why don't you like rock lights, man? You have a... Oh, no. Okay, for a second I thought that's what you were saying. Got 2.5-inch King coilovers with res. When 5K falls out of the sky, I'll get 3-inch with internal bypass and adjustable. I will say I could see, I think it was the Rough Country has the 3-inch coilover conversion. That's a pretty cool kit, and under $2,000, that's a steal. I have a feeling it's probably a pretty decent setup too. Like suspension parts. Yeah, I think that would be neat. Lord knows what all I want to do. Fox and Kings are similar. I heard the Kings need more maintenance than Fox and have steel body that don't like the salt. Is what? Well, PMF is definitely. I mean, they're definitely the premier Ford suspension out there. So I would take anything they say as essentially gospel in that department. I'd Fox sound better to me just because less. Although they don't like salt. Who knows? I'm sure they're both crazy. King is all custom race style. Fox is more commercial, factory with some racing. I mean, they both seem to be pretty high up on the totem pole as far as just quality. I don't know a ton for 3-inch lift or 3-inch shock size. Greg, do you mean when I was referencing the coilovers? I think Rough Country has a 3-inch coilover setup for the Fords. Or at least I think so. I feel like I just saw it a minute ago. It's only showing me early Ford stuff right now. Because that's what I have in as my vehicle. We'll delete the vehicle and see what pops up here. Where's the coil? Here they go. So they have... Well, now it's saying 2,200. I swear I saw one that was like 1,700. I mean, 2,300 still for coilover is not a terrible. That's front and rear shocks on top of it. It's not a hateful price. It's a lot of money for sure, but it's not a hateful price. Like if I was going to go coilovers, I'd be willing to spend that as opposed to some of that. Like there's some crazy numbers out there. Fox on my Raptor are awesome. I have not ridden in the Raptor yet. I think when I come over at some point, we need to take the Raptor out. I feel like I missed. Have you put a DCR pump replacing CP4? I have not. However, I really, really want to. I'd like to put one on my truck, but it'll be a bit before I do that. I will eventually do that video. I plan to do the disaster prevention kit first. I will say if your CP4 goes out, I do think putting the DCR in is the best choice. I do not think I would wait and not put that in. I think I would just go put the DCR in at that point. Is it more money for that kit than just a CP4? Yes. However, the DCR pump isn't going to fail the way the CP4 does. So while it is expensive, at the same time, it does not have near the failure rate. It's built on an existing platform. It's definitely a solid pick. That is the route I would go. If you have the money to do it, I would just do it. I wouldn't do a disaster prevention kit. I would just do that. But at some point I will. What are your thoughts on a transmission for 6.0 from Warren Diesel? Warren Diesel at one point, I don't know if this is still true, was basically supplying all the build kits everybody else was using. They know the transmission very, very well. I mean, they still abuse a 6-liter in a lot of racing and dyno events. I think Warren blows a truck up a year though, with like some ridiculous number of stages of nitrous. But as far as a transmission, I would definitely consider buying a Warren transmission. I will say my preference would be Randy's transmission. Just seeing the quality that goes into those. Another one like the 5R, it's not rocket science how to build one of these well. Trying to see with converter, like their stock plus, it looks, is that $4,700? I'm quick trying to price one out here to see what the actual cost is, but my internet or their website is not loving it. But I mean, $4,700, like that's not insignificant, but that's a good one. Let's see here. Billet pump, you get the forward input shaft, billet triple disc converter, a welded coast clutch, drum, machine center support, that's important, updated rear hub. I would say for most people, that's probably the best bet to go. So $5,000 when you throw the deep dish panel, because I do think you should do that. That is what I would really recommend for most people. Like I have all out 5R, like it's got billet everything. The only immediate options you could do, like I have some wild stuff in my converter. The only like added options you could do on top of mine would be, there's 3 tiers of billet input shaft. I have the mid grade. You could go one above. Quick pricing out another one here, just a quick see. So $9,000 for their billet, which has everything. Ford billet pump, welded. Yeah. That's meant. I would not recommend that for most people. That's just not. What's up, Ninja? How are you doing, man? What's your, or Johnny, what's your current setup? Because truthfully, if you're sticking to like 550-ish and under, that stock plus from Warren is really going to be your bet. Depending on where you are in the country, is it Twisted Transmissions, I think? Twisted Diesel Transmissions, because they do, if you're near them, they do free install. If I did mine over again, that's what I would have. I would have their probably their, I think they do a level 3. Yeah, I would have their level 3 transmission, which is all the stuff. It's a great transmission. Twisted is what Keeter used to run in his competition 6-liter. And I believe they used to do free install. I don't know if they still do. But once upon a time, and included in that price, the deep pan, a modified pump, modified clutch packs, billet input shaft, certain treatments to materials. Like, this thing is built all out. It comes with the billet triple disc, steel straighter, 1 year, 100,000 mile warranty. Like, I would call them out. I don't know that they still do the free installation, but if they do, that is probably your best bet. Kings have more flow opening in the shocks than Fox, but in less extreme conditions, both are really good. DCR for 2K is not. It is a good price at the end of the day. That there's nothing about it. It's good. It's a good price. Let's see what you're sending me here, Goose. Ninja, how was Craven? Looked like a good movie. I thought about checking it out. Holy crap, that's... What even is this? What did you send me, Mongoose? Stays 2 steps ahead. And you sent me something for a Ram pickup truck. It has its own computer. Well, that's wild. The Carly stuff does look good. That Ram they have in that picture looks really good too, actually. I do not see... I will say I do not see me ever going that crazy with one of my lifts. That just seems like more work than I have in me to deal with. No, that is an absolutely crazy suspension setup. I've never seen anything like that, dude. I don't even know what to think about that. I won't say ever. I hear you. That is a little bit of a hard sell for me. Warren Diesel does free install now. I mean, I guess you have to be by them. That's kind of wild. I mean, as much as some of these transmissions are, that's kind of their competition. What's their competition? Rated for 600 horsepower. Billet input shaft. It still looks like a good setup. I have I'm not doing GoFundMe. I would love more sponsors. I could definitely use more sponsors out there. I mean, I do love my turbo sponsor. Don't get me wrong; they're awesome. Uh, Sorry, I'm looking for a very specific gift for my brother, and I sent somebody. Shucks. I do not have a turbo timer. I don't think they're really that big of a deal. I let my truck idle a little bit if I was really in it. Um, the only time I could really use one is when I'm done towing. I'll let my truck idle for like 5 minutes once I'm done moving my camper, just to let everything cool down. Convince me in 2 minutes why I should buy a 6.7 Powerstroke over an L5P. First and foremost, Luke, the 6.7 Powerstroke doesn't suck. I'm just kidding. The L5P is not a bad engine. I will say this. I did recently learn some L5Ps, for unknown reasons, are bricking their ECMs or ECUs, whatever you want to call it. So that is one thing to be concerned, because the person I spoke to about it that's dealt with it said he wasn't sure how it was happening or why. But in my opinion, the 6.7, it is a proven setup. The L5P is not a bad truck or a bad engine. I love the transmission of that Ford offers. I think they are the best transmissions on the road right now. Uh, Over any of these trucks will do what you need them to do. The complete unbiased answer is buy whatever's most affordable, that has the features you want, because they are both great trucks and you will love both of them. I am much more a Ford fan. I think the 6.7 is overall a better truck. I think the L5P, depending on which year 6.7 you're looking at, L5P might make a little more power than some years, but nothing significant. Other years, the 6.7 makes more. But the only, I mean, does the L5P still use a CP4? I can't remember. But no, I would definitely go 6.7. I think they're better looking trucks. I think they are long term, more durable trucks. Everyone that says a Chevy rides nicer, they don't ride that much nicer for the weaker suspension that you get. Yeah, Mongoose, if you're in a 10-speed 6.7, that is awesome. I am not. I do love the 6R though. It's a good it's a strong transmission. I wish I had the extra gears for sure, but I don't feel the need to have them either. But yeah, I would definitely go 6.7 over an L5P. I don't even have anything super negative to say about the L5P. It's a little bit of a goofy turbo setup, with like a big like catalytic converter looking thing right off the rear. I don't. All right, you guys still there? Can you guys see me? It says I'm back. I don't know if I really am, but it says I'm back. Nobody's. All right, now I'm back. Good. Which I will say, props to YouTube for having a way easily back into it, because that was not always something they had. I'm not sure why that happened. Like the internet didn't fail. I have good internet. Um, Let's see what my internet speed is right now. Yeah, my internet speed is still crushing it. Well, I have my phone. Nope, I don't have my phone on Wi-Fi anymore. But while doing this stream, I still am getting 925 megabytes per second, which, if those of you that don't speak nerd, that's stupid fast. Now, as I was saying, where's the one? They are all super fast. And they all have realistically, they all have pretty much the same feature set. Luke, if you're still here, it is hard to say one is better. I see you been doing well, it's hard to say look at me instead of do a puzzle with your daughter, man. I lose that 10 out of 10 times. But also, thank you for keeping me up while you're hanging out with your kid, man. But yeah, Luke, if you're still here, the unbiased opinion is honestly get what you find the best deal on. There's no use spending more money for something that doesn't realistically do a whole lot better. Like I said, my hard preference is definitely Ford. I think they're overall the best trucks on the market. But to say that they like completely demolish one or the other, it's kind of dumb. I know there's people out there. I have a good friend of mine, diehard GM fan, thinks they do no wrong. But like, I mean, even some of these trucks are using very similar injectors now. I will say I'm not a big Cummins fan. I have nothing like against the engine per se. I think they do a couple dumb things like that heater grid that takes them out. What are the issues on the 6.7 other than CP4? It really depends on the year. One thing that Ford does that GM doesn't is they have an actual lift pump. I do like that. That's an easy thing to fix and rectify, though. You can always just install a lift pump on a GM, so it's not like the end of the world per se. Depending on year, 11 through 14, known to kind of go through turbos. 6.7s are kind of known for exhaust manifolds leaking. I have a set of BD exhaust manifolds to go on the truck, actually, in the near future. There were early 6.7s. There was an issue with the material used for the valve, so you had valves breaking off and causing catastrophic failures in 6.7s. 13 up, I think, are pretty good trucks. 15, I think, was the first big step into like a very complete, well-rounded truck. The turbo issues were resolved by going to a bigger turbo with steel bearings, more of a traditional VGT turbo setup. Again, I do wish they had a little bit more durable of an exhaust manifold on them. I think mine are actually leaking, which is part of why I plan to put on my my BD exhaust manifolds. They were actually sent out to the channel, and then I sold the truck I was originally going to put them on. So I've kept them this whole time. I just need to now put them on my truck. What else? The transmission is stout. There's some small odds and ends, but like nothing major. Like they are good trucks. The oil cooler is easy to get to. Probably the next biggest issue they have, upper oil pan leaking. Part of that can be explained by the crankcase vent system being an issue on these trucks. So those things leaking will cause issues. Outside of that, I can't say really much of anything, truthfully. They are overall good trucks. That's all there is to it. And the crankcase vent thing's pretty easy. Just replace it. It's an annoying job, but one you can do in your driveway. Um, I've even thought about doing the internal catch can type CCV mod, and then still running it into the intake instead of just running it to atmosphere like a lot of people do. Though there's nothing wrong with that per se, as long as that pressure has somewhere to go. That is the biggest thing. You need to make sure the crankcase vent has a place for the pressure to go. If it does not, it will cause issues. That's all there is to it. It'll just cause issues. A lot of people kind of push that to the side, don't think about it. I do think outside of that, I can't really think of a whole lot that goes wrong with them. The upper fuel filters are known for cracking, which is why the replacement heads are so popular, or relocation kits, people putting the oil filter in an easier to get spot. I plan to just put a new head on and get a spin-on filter. The new GM's interior are super nice. Although I gotta tell you, the 20 plus Fords, they're kind of something special too. I have not personally, I don't personally own one of those newer ones, but I don't have any issues with the older interior. I do think they're a little plain. Like there's no leather wrapped dash option in my year. I think that's kind of dumb. 2025s are nice. I was actually just in it was a 1500, but I was just in a buddy's 2025, and it was a super nice. And I had to make a comment. I thought it was so nice. Oh wait, was that a 2025 or yeah? 25s are out. I'm sure the interior of the new Fords is pretty awesome too, though. I'm quick pulling up a picture to look at the interior because it's got to be nice now. Oh yeah, the new interiors are killer. I love that interior on the Ford. The exterior they lose me a little bit on. I will say that. I don't know that I love the exterior of the brand new ones. I'm sure it'll grow on me a bit. And I'm sure they'll do some revisions to make it, a little bit nicer. 2020 is my current favorite. The 2020 trucks, those things look nice. Now, if they were to offer, I think it's the grille and headlights. I don't mind the shape. I just want a slightly different grille and headlight setup of the 2025s. If they did that, I'd be on board. I'd love if somebody in the aftermarket made a better looking grille and headlight setup for these trucks, because I do think that's kind of what they need. And then I think people would stop talking bad about them. Part of the issue is they're coming on the heels of probably the nicest truck they've ever released. They've always had really nice looking trucks, don't get me wrong, but the 2020s, they're freaking amazing. And I think that's one of the issues they're having is they had such a crazy setup that it's hard to kind of like, where do you go from that? Smith, how you doing? It has been a bit since you've caught one. I've been doing them more regularly, like I promised. I think is this the third week in a row? I think this is the third week in a row that I have done a live stream. So I'm back on a better schedule. I'm a little worried what I'll do next week with work. Fortunately, I was off the last 3 weekends, which is kind of rare for me. I am still going to try to do one after work next Sunday. but it is a little hard. But we will keep attempting to prevail. I think this is the longest I've gone since being back too. The Raptor R is nice. I'm good, man. How's it going? Been busy with school and car projects. I've been good, man. Keeping busy. Work keeps me very busy, but it's part of what I signed up for. Looking at kind of the same stuff as you. What, Smith, what are you in school for right now? And what car projects are you working on? Raptor R. The Raptors are just killer. And what's not to love about a 5.2 liter supercharged V8 with 720 horsepower? That is just insane. That's all I can say is insane. A 0 to 60 of 3.6, an EPA estimated 12 miles per gallon combined, 10 in the city and 15 on the highway. If ever there was the epitome of miles per gallon, the Raptor R is it. But what a killer looking truck. Just had 2 come through our shop. Senior year of college. Congrats, man. That's awesome. 4-inch, and I'm currently rewiring your 66 Mustang. I bet that is a project and a half, rewiring those. I actually want to get involved on a project Mustang with a friend. He'll be the one. He owns DSD. What is it? I forget what it is right now. What's best sounding exhaust for the 6.0 and 6.7? I gotta tell you, I'm a 4-inch exhaust fan. I like the added whistle. You're not running out of like flow for any horsepower anytime soon on a 4-inch. I think it's my preferred. I do think 5 sound good. Here's what's tough is what's tough, the 6.7, you really can't do much. I have heard deleted trucks. I still think the 4-inch on a deleted truck sounds best, if you encounter one. I mean, strictly for educational purposes, the ones I've heard, I like 4-inch. When you do the, I plan to do a DPF back on my truck. I really like the way the MagnaFlow and some of the MBRP ones look, so I'll probably go with one of them. But you don't really get the same, there isn't really a big change in sound, because the DPF really muffles everything so much, so you don't really get to hear that, the turbo whistle so much either in there. I will say brand doesn't really matter. The diesel mufflers, the performance diesel mufflers, they're more of a resonator for the trucks. They do help. Don't get me wrong. They do help quite. If you're looking for something a little more subtle, they do make a difference. But they don't really quiet the truck down per se either. 10-blade is still my preferred turbo. I do plan to review the 9-blade in 2025. That's become so popular, but I hate that turbo. It's not worth the lag that comes with it. It's not worth, you don't really get a major step up in performance on the high end either. Maybe a little lower back pressure, but you're not really gaining a whole lot. 4-inch has no muffler. Sounds great. No drone, and my dad 7.3 with the muffler drones a bit. I think 7.3s lend themselves to a little more drone just by default. My dad has a 4-inch off the turbo with a muffler, just like my 6-liter does. And I do feel there's a little drone. I don't think it's hateful per se, but I do feel like it's there. Pat, we got to work on that. I do want to do a video, like, once I feel I have everything squared away, trying to assess what a 600 horsepower 6-liter gets. Big tires certainly hurts me. But I would like to find out what it does, miles per gallon on the highway. Around town, I think I calculated it once, so I'm somewhere around like 15. Well, I do a lot of combined. I do like that they now make it when I reload the page, I can reconnect, but it does tell me they're having issues with it. And that happened much sooner. That was only like 20 minutes from the last one. I'm looking to make it to like the 2-hour mark. I do know there's been changes to the BIOS for my CPU. I don't want to get too much into nerd talk here because you guys don't tend to like the computer stuff. Although, just look at it. I love this computer. Very, very much I like this computer. But yeah, so I'll probably be making some changes. I'll probably go ahead and get my BIOS updated and then turn around and try to correct some of the goofy stuff that seems to be happening with this live stream. I thought we were done dealing with this issue. We used to deal with it in the past. But we will fix this. I'll figure it out and we'll get it all squared away, especially as I start doing longer live streams. So on 35s, I could probably get up there if I was running it like my current wheel and tire setup is very, very heavy. So it's 35s on 20 by 10. Like, it's like, I hate putting my tires on and off because they're heavy. So I know that affects them a fair amount. Pat, I can tell you this. When I first had my truck, I will share a caveat to this. I had just the exhaust done. I took a trip to the beach. I got 23.5 going down, and I think it was like 23.4 coming back. That's hand calculated, factory size tires. What I did find out later is they were factory size tires, but they were only load range C. They weren't load range E, like they're supposed to be. So I did realize later that was an issue, which it would affect, but I don't think it would affect like 2 miles per gallon. I still think I would have been over 20 miles per gallon driving down to the beach and back. Does Gearhead still tune 6 liters? I can't remember. Have you thought about a giveaway, or do you think it's just a scam? I do not think giveaways are scams. I will say this: giveaways are making the people that are doing all the giveaways are making money doing it. I'm not knocking them because they could just make that money, and they could choose not to, but they are making money off the giveaway in merch sales. I'd love to start doing like small toolbox giveaways, getting people started. Like Harbor Freight in the US General Series 3 has like they have this cart, and I'd love to fill one of those carts up with a bunch of tools to get people started and then do giveaways with that. The problem is right now, the channel doesn't make enough money to support that. and I don't sell enough merch to even kind of begin to do that. Once the channel does get up there, like as soon as I think I can start doing giveaways, I do plan to do tool, like those small tool cart. Harbor Freight's got a lot of good tools today. Um, and then I'd like to grow it from there. You know, if I do a couple of those and they get bigger and bigger each time, um, I would love to, you know, go to like the Series 3, like they have like a 41-inch cart, 56-inch, something like that, like the bottom piece. So I would love to grow giveaways eventually. That is one of the plans. Um, I would like to do more tool stuff than anything else just because I like different tools. And I think it's a good way to get people into doing this stuff, you know. So it is a little hard because I want to make sure it's something that somebody has a place to put it that's entering to win. And yeah, one day, definitely, if I get big enough, I'd love to do giveaway trucks. Um, I'd love to like buy a truck, do the build over like a year, and then do a giveaway truck. Like close out like every December with a big giveaway. That would definitely be something I would like to do. Let's see here. Stock 07 aluminum wheels. That'll definitely make a difference. Having stock wheels will definitely make a big difference. Broke ass channel. I feel like a broke ass channel, brother. um, I've pulled fifth wheel and averaged 11 over 1,000. Smith, that's good. I will tell you right now, an 11,000 pound camper getting 11. That's not bad. Uh, I used to be able to get 12 if I was 12 and a half if I was cautious when I towed about 9.5. Now I'm at 13 and I'm really around 10. I'm pretty pegged at 10 miles per gallon if I can. If I start pushing it, like doing a little speeding, accelerating faster than I typically would, I can easily drop down to 8.5, 9 with my setup. Still stock 13 blade turbo and stock injectors though. I got 17 miles per gallon driving around town with a 66 millimeter 10 blade turbo, and I had 18 by 9 wheels on it, and they were 34-inch tires. So they were basically the same size as a 35 as far as height. But it was a lighter tire than what I currently run. It was just a more conservative setup. But I was able to get 17 around town. I have a strong feeling. If I would have taken it on the highway, that I would have at least been able to get 21, 22 out of it. And it was just a good setup. It was 175 stock nozzled injectors. I had all the different airflow mods, exhaust manifolds, intake manifold, intercooler pipes. The intercooler is bigger, an air intake, all of it. It was just the 4-inch turbo back exhaust. It was just a nice running setup. Probably my favorite way the truck ever ran was that setup. It would have been around like high 400s, like 480 to 500, somewhere in there. It wasn't my fastest tune that I had, but it was a good running tune. It was a strong truck. I get great. A Mongoose scan tool would be a good one. Maybe we can consider something like that. It would have to be over a long period of time right now. I will say that. I guess the one thing I could consider is starting to do a giveaway with like the OBD2 reader to hook up Forescan to your PC. Like, you know, if you had like a laptop that you brought out, I could look at something like that. Can you make a video of gauge layout on the Edge slash SCT4 and Torque Pro? What gauges to look for? Yeah, I can do that. Don't have anything to take notes on. Let me put a note in my phone here to see if I can't notes. I need to go through some of my notes. Some of these are on the old side, and some of them are work stuff that I need to be looking at. Let's title this video ideas. So monitor layout. What to look for. Yeah, I can definitely take a look at doing a video like that for you, man. And ironically, I have the capacity to do that on all 4 of those platforms: Torque Pro, Edge, SCT4. I would add Forescan on there as well. Forescan, even the mobile version, is a great app that shows you more than most. The computer version that you can pay for it, or you can request a free activation code. You can always get free for 2 months and then just keep renewing it. Forescan is a great application. Stock injectors, O-Dog intake, BD exhaust manifolds, SMB air intake, 4-inch exhaust. I do want to mess with Fickum tunes as well. There's a lot of tuning stuff I want to mess with. I want to review tunes again. I miss reviewing tunes. They used to be a lot of fun. They were fun videos to just make. It's kind of like it's also kind of like that with my like turbo videos. Like reviewing the turbos are kind of fun to do as well. I'm trying to quick look back and see something here. Yeah, and the turbo videos do okay for me. They're one of the more popular videos I do anymore. I don't want them to I mean, not that I don't want them to do well, but I want everything I'm doing to do, kind of well. Like I'm hoping the crankcase vent filter delete video does a little better. That's at 750 views. I'd like to see that hit 1,000. I'll probably do a toe build list part 2 in the near future. Went back to my stock filter. I can flow more air than my SMB. I dislike the newer SMB filters a lot. I think the filter quality is good. I dislike the design. They've really kind of pushed into being more of like a factory replacement, that where you're not upgrading the power. But if you have more flow, like if you're really pushing it, they used to have a bigger design. Like they used to have a bigger box that had a hole on the side. But now it's a much smaller box, which is nice because it fits better. I will say that. But you also now have something that's not meant to really be an upgrade. It's really just playing within the factory limits, and that I kind of hate. I'm looking for an upgrade. I'm not looking for something to play nice in the factory. If I wanted factory, I would buy factory stuff. So that's just one of my frustrations with them. There's some good stuff out there. No Limit has a nice one. I'm going to soon put one of the cheap tubes on from eBay with an AFE filter. AEM makes a nice one with a decent sized filter on it as well. AFE has an open style I like. I don't like their closed. I'm pretty against closed on trucks that you're looking at building. When you're looking at really pushing the envelope for power, I don't care for the smaller intakes that are out there or the ones that are kind of closed. There is a certain point where you just need more flow. If you don't have more flow, you're not going to be able to make more power. That's kind of all there is to it. Trying to see what else is out there that I would recommend. I'm on a website looking at stuff. I don't really see a whole lot else I would recommend. Blessed Performance was going to be making one. Last I checked, it wasn't out, but let's take another look and see if it is out now. I don't want a hood stack. Do they do an event? Truck Fest? Let's see here. Some 26s on 37s. I don't have the lift for 37s. Pat, do you have the AFE intercooler, or are you just saying upgrade the intercooler? Compounds would be sick. I would love to do them one day. I've said that for years. And it will probably be years before I get the opportunity to do them, but I would love to do them. Loaded gearhead 8K tow tune for mileage, unloaded for a daily driver. My best overall performing tune for miles per gallon and still being fun to drive came from Windrunner Performance Engineering, which is no longer doing it. I think somebody told me he was tuning through somebody that you could get your hands on his stuff, but I don't know that I've seen it in recent years. Here we go. Air intake. That's a monster filter. The AEM Brute Force HD intake looks like it can flow some air. There's the no limit, dual battery tray. No, it does not look like Blessed has done their air intake yet. I am interested in what they do because I think it would be like I've always had in my head I was going to go no limit at a certain point, but I'm waiting to see what Blessed Performance turns out before I choose to go with AFE. Not AFE, no limit. Definitely making sure I keep hydrated through these is helping keep the soreness of my throat down. And these guys are helping as well. This is almost back to my normal streaming setup. I had a little bit of soda because I think that just tastes good. A little ginger ale. And then the only thing really missing is I don't drink energy drinks anymore. I'm 7 months clean. Haven't had energy drink in 7 months. But other than that, this is pretty much back to the streaming setup. AK tune does pretty good, but I get better with SRL. Smith, that's what I found. I tried the same test with my tow file on that same truck and found that I got 2 to 3 miles per gallon worse. I think I got right at 15 on my tow file as opposed to my I think it was like a Streeter Performance tune from the same tuner. I think some of that is typically the toe files pull your gears out a little further. Like they are tuned differently for the purpose that they're intended for. Also, guys, while we're here, if you haven't, don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. 315 75 16s, stock wheels for winter, decent, good size. Pat, I do think that's going to be one of your issues. Like if you're on 35s, there's certain tunes will lug down. There's a fine line, and I think that hurts your miles, your fuel economy the most. I'm on 35s with no lift and found that hotter tunes driven easy get me the best. Yep. Tuning has gotten worse to get. Bless Performance, and many of you know he's a sponsor. Affiliate code 6obros for 10% off his tunes. We will be reviewing them as soon as I get my truck back from this ECM not wanting to take a VIN debacle. Some trucks just don't like certain tunes. I will say that. I ran a different Blessed tune on a different truck several years ago, and I will say I did like it. It worked well. But I don't know. We'll see. I plan to give this new stuff a shot, and I'm excited about it. He's Bless does have some stuff I'd love to try out in the near future. They do have some stuff also for the 6.7 I'd love to try. I want to do a piping kit on that truck real bad. I don't know if they are with Pusher or not. I would love to do the Pusher piping kit. I'm trying to see. I don't know where you'd even list something like that. Maybe under intake manifolds? No. I love the I run the CSF 6028, I believe it is. I don't think they. No, that's a lie. I think you can get it on Rock Auto. Oh, it's gone up in price. Well, this is off XDP. It's $640 on their website. Rock Auto. Let's see where you're at. $403 on Rock Auto. Whatever shipping is, 40, maybe 40 to 50 bucks. It won't be cheap because it's not light, but I've never seen. They've always been super reasonable with their prices. I remember when it first came out, I thought it was a scam because it was such a good price. Here it is on eBay for $453. I picked mine up for like $350. It was some crazy deal I got on mine. And then there's another one they sell, the 7106, that's more expensive. I do think it's rated for like a 50 extra boost. I think it's rated for like 120 psi. It's saying here. I'm not sure what the 6028 is, but Yeah, I mean, mine's probably I got mine like 7-ish years ago. It was a while ago I got mine. It was a great price. Um, I will say I do wanna try out the, Mishimoto has a budget one around 500. Um, there's a guy near me looking to buy a 6 liter and have me do some stuff to it. So if he does that, that'll probably be the intercooler that goes in his truck. Um, I'm not always a big Mishimoto fan, to be honest, but that intercooler looks interesting to me to at least try out as another option, just in case something were my go-to. The CSF 6028 is the go-to for me. Um, I like the look of the 15 lower valence on 6 liters. What do you think? Um, I like it on the '05 and ups, which I think yours is. Quick looking at your pictures. Yeah, I think that would look good on your truck, man. The newer style valence on your truck would definitely look great. Um, Falcon Wild Peak AT3s are the. I like the AT3s. They're good. They're a good tire. Um, the AT3 is definitely a good tire. My favorite tire is still, well, actually, my all time favorite tire is a budget tire. It's the Hercules um, Terra Grappler, I think. Terra Track. Yeah, the Terra Track AT2. Oh no, it's discontinued. This used to be my favorite tire. Then I should say. Um, let's see what the ATX is. I don't like the look of that at all. Their TerraTrack ATX Venture. Uh, that's not a bad looking tire. I will say you can't sleep on Hercules tires. They are cheaper a lot of times, but I do tend to like them. I'm gonna see what they have here for all terrains. Um, I also do absolutely love um, shoot Nitto. Nitto Terra Grappler G2s are phenomenal. They're my all time favorite at this point. Huh? They don't have the. They don't have a fifth or 18-inch. Hmm. Oh, that'll be for another time for me to mess with. I haven't had wear issue with my Terra grapplers yet, but I haven't also really had a ton of miles on them. But I will say, for as long as that tire sat, to not have major flat spots in them is impressive. I do have some dry rot where like it sat in mud. The parts that didn't sit in mud have zero dry rot. Um, so it's a shame because if it probably was just on pavement, they probably would still be in perfect shape. AT4s are out. Bronco has Thunder Trail grip or something. They were like 100 a piece and have been great so far. I have a friend that swears by BFGs. It is his favorite tire, and it's hard to say there's anything wrong with them. See, I will say this. I had balance beads in a set of tires and in two different sets of tires, and they sucked. I don't know if that was just some people don't have any problem with them, but you got to be kind of specific to them. They're balance beads are not the end all. I will say that if they work, no reason to not keep rocking them. But um, I had two different sets of tires that they were awful in. Uh, so I'm still a weights on the truck or on the wheel kind of guy on the backside, so I can't see it. I will say that. But let's see here. You said the AT4s are out. AT4 Wild Peak. It's a good looking tire, though it looks a lot like the other one. I also like Toyo. Though I had the Open Country 2s. I don't think they sell those anymore. Yeah, they're here's the 3. Still a decent looking tire. I like a moderate, like I don't like a super aggressive all-terrain or like the hybrids that have like an all-terrain middle section with like a mud terrain outer lug. Pat, I need to drive out to you just to have tires done. .35 Falcon Wild Peak seemed to stick well in snow and ice. Yeah, Wild Peak are definitely good tires overall. Nothing wrong with them. Achilles Rugged. Not a bad looking tire. A little more mud terrain than I personally like, but not a bad tire. We are going to end out the live stream. We do plan to do one next week. It might be starting a little later. It might be more of a 10 p.m. thing. I'm going to make some changes on the computer to try to fix whatever's happening that I'm losing. Yeah, we went like an hour and 10 minutes before the first one, and now it's been like every 20 minutes that it boots me. So I'm going to make some changes to my computer. I don't know why it's doing it because it's not working hard right now. Like my temps are all good. I don't know. Clear your search, you know. Um, so, and part of why I built this the way I built it was to kind of do dumb stuff. So I'm not 100% sure what's happening. I don't know if it could be my RAM. It handles gaming well. It handles like I mean, it normally handles everything I do well. I haven't had issues editing videos. It doesn't tend to close out. So this is the last thing. I might add a little voltage back on my CPU. I might just have it a little low for what I'm asking it to do right now. I'm not 100% sure, but we are going to mess with that. We will be back next week. Stay tuned, guys. Keep supporting the channel. Mongoose, thank you again so much. That was so kind of you for that. I can't say thank you enough. Channels. Anyway, you guys have a good night. I will see you guys soon. A video will be dropping in another day or two. Probably my stage 2.5 turbo install for my truck. I will see you guys soon. Take care. Have a good night. Everybody have a good week too. Thank you, Greg.